the ceremony is actually being streamed live here at www.cit.ie/live. So we're being seen all over the world. In the interest of your safety, please be aware of the nearest exit to you. In the unlikely event of an evacuation, an announcement will be made from this podium, and if the evacuation is called, please walk quickly and without pushing or impeding others to the nearest exit. These exits are signposted A, B, C, and D, and are posted on the pillars near you, letting you know which one is yours, and the direction is also given. Do not attempt to re-enter the building until advised by our safety response team. Please keep the aisles and passageways clear of belongings during the ceremony, and if anybody needs assistance during the ceremony, just let one of the stewards know. At the commencement of the conferring ceremony, I will invite you to stand and to remain standing until members of the academic procession are seated on the platform. This morning's ceremony will be chaired by Mr. Gerard O'Donovan, Head of Faculty of Business and Humanities. Shortly after the commencement of the conferring ceremony, the President will deliver a short introduction empowering him to make awards. When he has finished that introduction, I will require each row of conferees, as directed by the stewards, to proceed to the platform. Please stay in the order in which you are seated, as your parchments are in that order. When you approach the platform, please wait until the head of department announces your name and then proceed up the steps onto the platform to the President to receive your parchment. In the unlikely event that you're given the wrong parchment, don't panic, right? We'll sort it out afterwards. That won't happen, of course. As you can see, the photographer from Barry's photography studio is located to my left. When you arrive by the President to receive your parchment, pause for a moment, and when the President is handing the parchment to you, look towards the photographer and smile. All right? Preferably while your photograph is being taken. You then exit the platform on the left and go back to your seat. Please do not clap each individual conferee as they receive their parchment. Instead, once each class group have completed their conferring, the head of department will ask all the graduates to stand to receive their ovation. I would ask everyone with a mobile phone to ensure it is either on silent or switched off now. That actually includes myself. Yeah. I've just realized. Thank you for your attention, and the academic procession will commence in a few moments. Okay, please all rise and remain standing until all members of the academic procession are seated. Can I ask that you all take your seats? I call on the Head of Faculty of Business and Humanities, Mr. Gerard O'Donovan, to commence this morning's conferring ceremony.
Graduates of CIT. Good morning. Graduates of CIT, members of governing body, take two. Graduates of CIT, members of governing body, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the meeting at which awards of Cork Institute of Technology will be conferred on students of this institute. Our guests on the platform are Dr. Breda Kenny, Head of the School of Business, Dr. Barry O'Connor, President of CIT, and Dr. Áine Ní Hé, Registrar and Vice President for Academic Affairs, CIT. Our guests on the rear platform are members of the governing body and members of the academic staff of CIT. I call upon Dr. Barry O'Connor, the President of the Institute, to confer awards on the learners presented by the Institute for that purpose.
Good morning, Gerard. It reminds me of the story that the priest came out to the pulpit and he tapped the microphone and he said, "There's something wrong with this microphone." And the congregation said, "And also with you, Father." Anyway, good morning. We'll get over the technical difficulties. So welcome to everybody on this grand morning, a great day of celebration. So the first half is the very formal presentation of parchments, and we do it under the Act. And the intonation or the patter is done as Gaeilge and then in English. So to begin, Har Cheann Institute, agus the Halifax and Woodrash, a hamlet to retreat the rare Alta Quiggitry, Dachtum Chailichti, agus Darbu Chailichte, the Idagus agus the Lunt, and then Brian Gavid Doyag, Brunham Davachini, or Olamori Institute, a Tartaresh on Khaidan, and a Kinnog Ekin Todrash Shin of Wintermach. Agus Iram, go Gurfern, a Fanimori Shin of Malahir, Chonabar, a Herbert Doive, go Finimule. On behalf of the Institute and by virtue of the authority delegated to it under Section 53 of the Qualifications and Quality Assurance Education and Training Act of 2012, I hereby confer awards on the learners of the Institute who have achieved the standard determined by the authority for those awards. And I ask that those learners be presented to me so that I may formally present them with their parchment.
I call upon Dr. Breda Kenny, Head of School of Business, to commence conferring in her school.
The School of Business consists of the Department of Accounting and Information Systems, the Department of Management and Enterprise, the Department of Marketing and International Business, and the Department of Organisational and Professional Development. I have the privilege to present the candidates from the Department of Management and Enterprise. Awards will be made in respect of the following programmes in this department: Bachelor of Business Honours, Bachelor of Business, Bachelor of Business in Management, and Higher Certificate in Business. President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programmes in the Department of Management and Enterprise and who are worthy of the award of Bachelor of Business Honours, and I would request that you present their parchment to them. Robert Samson Agbonge. Sean Gerard Barron. Ryan David Barry. Colin Brendan Barry. Vladimir Beluski. Natalie May Bennett. David Martin Brickley. Ian Stephen Rowe. Aaron Patrick Buckley. James Gerard Berkeley. Claudia Bozea. Michael Patrick Byrne. Aisling Marie Cahalan. Nicole Mary Cahill. Ryan Anthony Cahill in absentia. David John Canty. Joseph Patrick Carver. Jessica Kathleen Casey. Grace Lona Shibet. Ilarian Chernoshton in absentia. Peter Clark. Ilarian Chernoshton. Peter Clark in absentia. Patrick James Clifford. Sean Michael Coleman. Laura Mary Constant. Niamh Cooney. Peter Brian Cotter. Katie Hannah Coughlin. Colm Stephen Coveney. Jessica Creed. Aaron David Cronin. Dennis John Cross. Philip Daniel Crowley, Jean de Silva Ferreira, Andrea Dacco, Luke James Daly in absentia, Nicole Mary Daly in absentia, Aisling Nora de Courcy, Sean James Deasy, Ryan Peter Fenlon, Erica Figueredo, John Gerard Flanagan, Craig Timothy Foley, Evan Brian Foley, Stephen Patrick Ford, Aisling Fox in absentia, Nicole Furlong, Orla Dimpnagini, Sarah Lee Geeney, Peter Joseph Gleeson, Jeremiah Martin Griffin in absentia, Robert Brian Hanley in absentia, Colin Derek Hart in absentia, Emmett Joseph Healy. Natasha Healy, Samuel James Hegarty in absentia, Mark Anthony Higgins, Tara Higgins, Lisa Ann Hitchmock, Aoife Patricia Horgan, Carol Horgan, Liam Joseph Howard, Neil James Hippolyte, Peter Joseph Jennings, Peter Germain, Conor Michael Jordan. Lauren. Liam Bernard Carney. Michael John Carney. Anya Mora Carney. Alan James Keating. Niall Gerald Kelly. Owen Gerard Kennefick. Conor Kieran Kingston. Jerry Lane. Karen Marie Lane. Sam Lewis. John Patrick Lenihan. Joseph Richard Loftus. Mark Aidan Long. Erin Margaret Looney. David Patrick Lyons. Alan James Mackesy. Keith Noel Madden. Jessica Carmela Manley in absentia. Eric David Marin in absentia. Stephanie Juliatan Pereira Marshall. Louis William Masters. Mary Maria McAuliffe. Adam Michael McCarthy in absentia. Daniel Austin McCarthy. Daniel Thomas McCarthy in absentia. Kevin McCarthy. Sean Patrick Jude McCormick. Owen Paul McDermott. Conrad Joseph McGrath in absentia. Lisa Ellen McGrath. Martin Christopher McLaughlin in absentia. Mark Hugh McPhillips. Adam Martin McSweeney. Declan Meany. Brona Margaret Meany. Kate Bernadette Morgan. Laura Margaret Moynihan. Dean Christopher Murphy. Paul Murphy. Brian John Nocton. Owen Michael O'Carroll. Shane Luke O'Connell. Darren Christopher O'Connor. Shane Eugene O'Connor. Tomas O'Connor. Erica O'Donnell. Brian Timothy Dennis O'Donoghue. Owen Finbar O'Donoghue in absentia. Oliver O'Donovan in absentia. Orla Louise O'Flynn. Thomas Anthony O'Gorman. Brian Mark O'Keefe. Conor Patrick O'Keefe. Jack O'Keefe. Leanne Helena O'Leary. Louise O'Leary. Niamh Mary O'Leary. Shauna Margaret O'Mahony. Kevin John O'Neill in absentia. Daniel O'Sullivan in absentia. David James O'Sullivan. Gary William O'Sullivan. Ian Patrick O'Sullivan in absentia. Janice Teresa O'Sullivan in absentia. Robert Morris O'Sullivan. Robert Michael O'Sullivan in absentia. Mark Parks in absentia. Adam Michael Thomas Parle, Claude Michelle Quinlan, Jennifer Quinn, Indra Rayoketa, in absentia, Cian William Ring, David Paul Ring, Magdalena Ruda, Helen Schwertel, Katie Sarah Shanahan, Tomas George Sheehan, in absentia, Veronica Smolka, in absentia, Niamh Mary Stanton, Emily Leanne Sullivan, Lauren Michelle Swanton, in absentia, Gary Michael Sweeney, in absentia, Dean Liam Tuig, Claire Tyndall, Daniyar Ushpayev, Colm Jared Walsh, in absentia, Connor Michael Walsh, Michael James Walsh, Sandra Walsh, Tara Jennifer Whelan, in absentia, Patrick Joseph White, in absentia, Katrina Maria Wrin, in absentia. Would the graduates of the Award of Bachelor of Business Honours please stand to receive their ovation. President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programmes in the Department of Management and Enterprise and who are worthy of the award of Bachelor of Business, and I would request you to present their parchment to them. Megan Joseph Airy, in absentia, Karina Ann Allen. Keith Sean Barrett. Robert Blake. Angelica Anna Broda, in absentia, Simone Elizabeth Butler. Danielle Agnes Byrne. Dylan Cadigan. Shona Mairead Callanan. Lydia Linda Carroll Condon. Robert Liam Casey in absentia. Anne-Marie Maureen Collins. Patrick Thomas Collins. Shane David Connolly. Brona Mary Cotter. Mary Nora Elizabeth Cotter. Cormac Heaney Cowig. Adrian Croston in abstentia. Cian John Crowley in abstentia. Emer Bernadette Crowley. Shane Martin Crowley in abstentia. Amy Curran in abstentia. Kevin Michael Curran in abstentia. Cristiano da Costa. Shannon Nadia Rose Dockery. Prince Will Ebaracheku Egwim. Mark James Elliott in abstentia. Rachel Fitzgerald. Scott Kean Fitzpatrick. Claire Margaret Foley. Cahill David Ford. Finbar Martin P.O. Fuhi. Andrew Charles French in abstentia. Aidan Ralph Fuller. Eduardo Garbagnati. Jennifer Ellen Geary in Matthew Benjamin Gledhill. David Garrett. Jean Ann Gould. Victoria Nora Grace. Kelly Christine Hackett. Benjamin Nicholas Hales. Kira Maria Hartnett. Cian Sean Hassett in abstentia. Kieran Joseph Hockney in abstentia. Stephen James Heffernan. Kelly Catherine Herlihy. Ellen Louise Hickey. John Faulkner Hodnett. Mark Raymond Horan. Stephen Martin Keating in abstentia. Dermot James Kelly. Margaret Ann Kelly. Padraig Sean Kirwan. David William Leahy. Claudia Jean Long. Leomi Linda Mackey. Anthony John Magnier. Kira Abina Mansell, abstentia. Megan Mary McNally in abstentia. Michaela Sweeney in absentia. Graham Edward Moore. Monica Thomas Morey. Lauren Ursula Morey. Roy Daniel Moylan. Kaylee Maria Margaret Mullins. Kira Noreen Mulry. Aaron Dermot Murphy in abstentia. Barry Colin Murphy in abstentia. Cathy Ann Murphy. Cian Murphy. Kira Murphy. Connell Shane Murphy in absentia. Lisa Moira Murphy. Chloe Lorraine Murray in absentia. Eric Umba Nambi. Clifford Joseph Niles in absentia. Anthony Richard Nyhan in absentia. Ian Paul O'Brien. Ross Daniel Horahan O'Connell in absentia. Laura Elizabeth O'Connor. Ryan Dennis O'Donnell in absentia. Padraig Joseph O'Donoghue. Megan Elizabeth O'Donovan. Sinead Margaret O'Donovan. Michael Lawrence O'Dwyer in absentia. Samuel James O'Dwyer. Aileen Patricia O'Gorman. Mark Hugh Samuel O'Gorman. Kieran Aidan O'Keefe in absentia. Katrina Mary O'Leary. Chloe Katrina O'Leary in absentia. Michael Timothy O'Leary in absentia. Aoife Hannah O'Mahony. Mary O'Mahony. Niamh Mary O'Reilly. David Padraig O'Shea. John Dennis O'Sullivan in absentia. Dragos Andre Opera in absentia. Morris Prendeville. Stephen Thomas Quinn in absentia. Emma Louise Quish. Emma Roach. Michael Paul Ronan in absentia. Joseph Ryan in absentia. Lauren Marie Scannell. Mary Rose Shanahan. Robert Palmer Shaw in absentia. Alexander Sivos. Sarah Maria Sugru. Laura Jane Tracy. Jack Walsh, in absentia. Lauren Michelle Walsh, in absentia. Christopher Patrick Wheeler, in absentia. Hazel Mary Whelan. Paddy Cornelius Welton, in absentia. Gavin Hugh Williams, in absentia. Robert Williams, in absentia. Would the graduates of the award of Bachelor of Business please stand to receive their ovation? President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programmes in the Department of Management and Enterprise and who are worthy of the award of Bachelor of Business in Management, and I would request you to present their parchment to them. Emibet Ayalu. Shane Kieran Barry, in absentia. Rebecca Bozang, in absentia. Asa Matilda Bergren, in absentia. Judith Biro. Joy Patricia Bozinski. Michelle Martina Broderick. Danny Comerford. Thomas William Cotter. Maeve Megan Duncliffe. Aoife Maria Finn. James Finbar Foley. Almos Leventa Holo. Mark Keating. Shauna Keegan. Ronan James Kelly. Margaret Regina Keneally. Fiona Kidney. Niamh Margaret Landers, in absentia. Anne-Marie Linehan, in absentia. Christine Marie Lemassney, in absentia. Laura Christine Long. Fergus McGonigal, in absentia. Andrew Mackenzie Vass. Carl Tadeus Mudra. Antoinette Margaret Noonan, Louise Noonan, Lydia O'Callaghan in absentia, Mark Joseph O'Leary, Kate Patricia O'Sullivan, Jason Noel Roach, Michelle Ryan, Anna Szydlowska, Kelsey Mary West, Maria Zabalos, Would the graduates of the award of Bachelor of Business and Management please stand to receive their ovation. President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programmes in the Department of Management and Enterprise and who are worthy of the award of Higher Certificate in Business, and I would request you to present their parchment to them. Urku Alanda in abstentia, Colum David Barker in abstentia, Brendan Brosnan in abstentia, Caitlin Butler in abstentia, Owen Donald Cronin, David Timothy Cusson in abstentia, Linda Margaret Daly in abstentia, Lindsay Dickon, Damien Field in abstentia, Simon Patrick Gallagher in abstentia, Aoife Bernadette Geesley, Martin Glanville in abstentia, Veronica Gosova-Kurzien in abstentia, Jason Brendan Hart in abstentia, Jessica Hickey, Tatiana Ivanic, Roxana Sibila Lesniak in abstentia, Kira Amy Lynch in abstentia, Kira Kathleen Mangan in abstentia, Gerd Joseph McSweeney in abstentia, Andrew Patrick Moynan, John Gerd McSweeney. Andrew Patrick Moynihan, Emma Louise Murphy, in absentia. Liam Murphy, in absentia. Barbara Alicia Nidzilak. Barry Noonan, in absentia. Sylvia Isabella Novak. Denise Margaret O'Mahony. Eileen O'Neill. Ruth Akot O'Kiro. John Quinn, in absentia. Anne Noella Valadon. And Mairead Walsh, in absentia. Would the graduates of the award of the Higher Certificate in Business please stand to receive their ovation.
This concludes this part of the meeting for the purpose of conferring awards on the students of our Institute. I now call on the President of the Institute, Dr. Barry O'Connor, to address you.
Thank you again, Chair. Members of the governing body, colleagues, supporters of the graduates here in front and graduates, well done to everybody. Tres Liam Liv as an Gashke ta Dientagov, agus an Came the Tabruntan Sar Madden, is one to go rode, Came the Archaidan, agus Came the Ian Mahas done bubble, agus the course you can know everyone and so. Our degrees here this morning, and quite a number of them at 2-1, 1H, but across the board, all relevant degrees for the development of our enterprise and our community, locally and nationally. And it's a great sense of pride that we have here on the podium and colleagues across the admin and support services here in the Institute to see such an outstanding cohort of graduates coming out here this morning. And we look forward to following your careers with progress. I guess the two key things about our degrees here within the Institute is that they are relevant and they're based on partnership. They're relevant in that they address the needs of the community, our business and industry. And whenever a new degree is being proposed here within the Institute, and we, as Maurice would tell us in terms of good marketing, we try and improve our product range every year. But whenever a new degree is proposed, the first question that is asked is, and we make no bones about it, is there a demand for this actual degree or certificate or master's, whatever? And is there a demand translated into English? Are there jobs for these graduates? We don't head off onto developing degrees that do not have a relevance, that people cannot get jobs out of at the end of the day. And it's not that we're producing just worker bees for enterprise or for business. We're producing leaders who will be leaders of our community, leaders of industry, leaders of enterprise. And we have them in spades globally at this point. in terms of the network of CIT graduates that are out there. So congratulations to all of you here at the front of the hall. This is a great day. It's early in the morning to hear long, boring speeches, but I'll try and keep it short and maybe not boring, hopefully. In terms of what you received this morning, your degree, your parchment, the degree, Ascuelga, Dr. Kamer, the Irish word for a degree is Came. Came, of course, Trachtala, of course, Margirta. But Came generally translates into step, a step, and this is what it is this morning. And more, as you enter your professional careers, you get involved in CPD, continuous professional development, and it's an area through colleagues here on the podium and colleagues across the Institute where CIT is very strong, or simply put, this is a step on your learning. It's a milestone, it's a major achievement, but the learning keeps on going. In fact, the fact that we have our level 7 degrees this morning, level 8s, and our certificates and so on, if you go to the European system, the level 7, which is the 3-year degree, is called under Bologna, which all professionals, all countries have signed up to across Europe. It's based on the 3-year degree first. And the 3-year degree, at the end of the 3 years, is called one of two things. It's either the mobility hub, where you make a decision to come back and do a level 8 or go somewhere else and do a level 8 or a level 9 indeed. So it's a mobility hub or it's an employability hub. And that's the way the European system has been designed, that at the end of your first 3 years, you get your first degree, you drive on, then you make a decision whether you're coming back to the level 8 or going elsewhere, or whether indeed you're going in and following a professional route in industry or in business. So again, our sector really is best suited for the Bologna agreement, which is what drives European academic design at this point. Across Europe as well, I suppose you heard me calling out the QQI Act, as we call it, the 2012 Act, which governs what happens across the board in education in Ireland, from post-secondary school education right the way through to PhDs across all institutions. And a key part of the most recent guidelines under which we have to operate, under which QQI operates, they're called the European Standards and Guidelines 2015. I'm sure that won't come up in the pub quiz anywhere, but they are called ESG 2015. And one of the key parts in that is that the student should be central to course design and the whole learning experience. And again, from the point of view of CIT, we are leaders nationally in terms of student engagement and student participation in quality. We call it SPARK here, student partnership in academic quality. And we do that from day one through getting involved with this, our CIT module or Good Start programme, where we hand the partnership and the responsibility over to our student body, and they in turn put it back on us to develop and deliver good programmes. So there was a HA study just done 3 years ago on terms of student engagement, because it was seen as a problem up and down the country. But in the foreword to that actual report, Tom Boland, the then Chief Executive of the CEA of the HEA, he was the CEO of the HEA, Tom Boland said in the preamble, he says, when you step onto the campus in CIT, you know that they're doing something right in terms of student engagement, and we're held up as a national exemplar there. And that makes our degrees relevant. What also makes our degrees very, very relevant is the fact that we have more than 40 professional bodies who actually accredit our degrees here in CIT. Be that in accounting, in marketing, in engineering, in MedLab Technologies, MedLab Consultancy. We have more than 40 professional bodies coming in here to accredit our degrees. And what does that mean? I mentioned already the QQI, so we have very, very strict academic quality standards here, monitored by our academic council, who set down the standards and the rules. But on the other side of it, we have these professional bodies coming in, so we have high standard of academic quality, but your accountancy professionals, your marketing professionals come in, and the organisations and quantity surveyors and the Royal Institute of Architects of Ireland, they come in, look at our programmes and say, fine, they're grand academic programmes, but do they meet the needs of industry? Will these degrees get you membership of SEMA? Will they get you membership of Engineers Ireland or whatever? So we have over 40 bodies coming in here accrediting our degrees. And that gives you a double lock in terms of academic quality and academic relevance. And it goes to the whole partnership as well. And in terms of partnership, I'll give you some very simple examples of who we partner with, and not just signing MOUs or getting photographs taken, but actual active partnerships. UCC, for example, we have a suite of 5 or 6 programs at this stage. We have joint awards with UCC. CIT, CREST, and UCC CREST under one parchment. And again, no other 2 institutions in the country actually do that. No, it's hard to do it because you're marrying 2 academic standards, 2 academic systems, not standards, but two different systems, exams and lecture delivery, 2 different locations as well. But we do it because we're responding to the needs of the community here in Cork and in Munster generally, and actually nationally. So again, CIT is an exemplar. I suppose the point I'm making here, folks, is that you're not just graduating from CIT here this morning as a little bubble, brand bubble and all that might be on a fine day like this. You're graduating from courses that are designed in conjunction with our partners in the professions, with our partners in the community, our partners in industry. So simply put, you're not just graduates of CIT, you're graduates of the entire industry, enterprise ecosystem, we might call it, here in the Munster region. So and going back to the accreditation, again, simply put, your degrees will travel, your degrees will be acceptable on a worldwide basis. Going back here again to the HEA, HEA have in recent years insisted upon an employability statement to be delivered with every programme. You know, where do these degrees fit into the workplace or business? Again, we've been doing that forever. As I say, we don't put a degree on the table, even as a proposal, unless it is actually relevant, unless there are jobs at the end of it. So we're well ahead of the posse in terms of the HEA there as well. So again, was it 3 weeks ago, or when your level 7s would be here, they'd know this. We had an employability fair here, careers fair here about 3 weeks ago. This hall was full, the hall next door was full, and you could not move with the amount of people, and mainly employers who are coming in here trying to grab our students, grab our graduates, because we are recognised as probably the best profession-focused higher education institute in the country. And that's designed in from the beginning, thanks to our colleagues here who would have a lot of industry experience themselves, business experience, and these partnerships we have with our institutions outside and professional bodies. Maybe just to bring you up to date in terms of what's called a technological university. The technological university is they're all over Europe for generations at this point, but the first technological university was announced in Dublin there just a couple of months back. That was a combination of DIT, Tala Institute, and Blanchardstown, Institute of Technology of Blanchardstown. We are driving on with the process of a consortium with our colleagues in IT Tralee to set up the Munster Technological University. And we're doing that for 2 very good reasons. First of all, it'll give us due recognition that we are operating, and we know we're operating, at the highest standard nationally and internationally. Like I say, your degrees are accepted and sought after worldwide. But this technological university designation will set us up and give, again, another form of recognition. But more importantly, as we drive on here in terms of research and engagement with industry, we need to be properly resourced. We're lucky in terms of the School of Business. It's a very, very strong school, and I'm taking away maybe some of Gerard's commentary after now, but they do subsidise a lot of the other activities that go on here in terms of more expensive courses. But under the TU Bill, the Technological Universities Act, it's become an act since last March, there is a recognition that a technological university has to be properly resourced, to allow us to develop our mission of engaging with the community, of doing research, and of, again, continuing our profession-based focus in terms of the degrees that we are developing and our excellent graduates that we are graduating here. Well over 2,000 in this particular session in these 3 days. So that's where we're going in terms of the Technological University. In terms of other partnerships, I have to mention, for example, the Cork Foundation. We are now in our 3rd or 4th year possibly, of an advocacy course, an advocacy program we do with people above in the Cork Foundation. And again, it is a most rewarding partnership to be involved in, both for our friends above in Cork, staff and residents up there, and for ourselves here. Another example we have, yesterday we had, I think, about 8 people from the Naval Service graduating with degrees in engineering. Again, we have a very, very strong partnership with the Naval Service. Not something just written down on paper, but our Maritime College below in Ringaskiddy, half of it is Navy and half of it is CIT, because we do degrees in engineering and science and logistics for both the Merchant Navy, the Merchant Marine, and for the Irish Naval Service. So again, going back to the ecosystem, where you're graduating from that whole melting pot, you're not just the business school or individual departments, it's the whole partnership that you're graduating from here. Again, maybe just go back to the whole idea of relevance of what we do, and many of you will get employment in the industries which are strong around Cork, the whole food processing, biosciences, pharma, and ICT. And if you're looking for a book to see, or evidence to see how CIT, or as it then was, the Cork Regional Technical College, has influenced what has happened here in Cork. There's a recent book published by Michael Moynihan from the Irish Examiner called Crisis and Comeback, Cork in the 80s. And it goes back to the sad old days when some of us will still remember Fords, Dunlops and so on, all closing down. There's a chapter there about a colleague of ours here in CIT, and I'm sure he won't thank me for mentioning this again now, but a man called Larry Poland. And Larry, it's in the book, Larry was the reason why Apple came to Cork. Larry was the reason why EMC came to Cork. He was the head of electronic engineering here in CIT and the Cork RTC at the time. And quite simply, when Richard Egan, he was the E in the EMC, the late Richard Egan, he subsequently became American ambassador to Ireland. They were travelling around looking for a site. They went to Scotland, they went to England, came over here. And everywhere they went, and we do it still. When companies come in with the idea, we say we have fantastic graduates, we have fantastic research, fantastic involvement with and support with and for the community and for business. They came here to CIT, they met Larry Poland, and instead of putting, this is what we have on the table, Larry said simply to them, he said, "My name is Larry Poland, I'm head of electronic engineering in Cork Regional Technical College. What can we do for you? What can Cork RTC do for you?" And the thousands of jobs that are outside in ovens in no Dell EMC and also VMware, they went, and this is Richard Egan's own statement, the story he told to Mary McAleese, which has been retold back to us, and we force it out of Larry every now and again. That was the reason why EMC came to Cork. And not just because of Larry, but because of the actual programs that we were happy to design to respond to the needs of industry. And every single degree that's here this morning is designed in the same way. Every bit of research we do here in the Institute, again, in simple English, we identify problems and we develop solutions for them through research. We don't do what might be the normal academic route, which is develop solutions and then look for problems to solve. We go the other way around, which I think is a better service to society. I guess I'll leave it at that, just to say well done to everybody. Again, we use a lot of Latin here, or Latin in absences. We used it many times this morning. It's probably a good sign that people are actually too busy working or making money or have emigrated or whatever. But in the traditional universities, the incantation is admitto vos ad gradum baccalaureus, which means I admit you to the degree and to the community of whatever degree you're graduating into. And what it means is you have the faculty up on the stage here, and each graduate comes up to get their parchment, and they're being admitted to the community of graduates of CIT. So that's what you are now. You're formal members of the Institute, and you're joining a network of thousands of CIT graduates right across the globe. And I suppose my point would be, stay connected to yourselves through social media, particularly through our alumni association here in CIT. Stay connected with each other, stay connected with us as part of CIT. But just remember the grand saying we heard a couple of years ago, an African saying, and it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So the colleagues and friends you've met here, and among the faculty as well, over the last number of years, stay close, stay together, and people will help each other out across the globe. As I say, our graduates are in every country in the world at this point. So they're there, they'll be delighted to look after new graduates from CIT and to get the benefit of their spirit and the wisdom that they've developed here within the Institute. I leave it at that. Gur mil mahagav as tashtel le CIT, tasulgum, gurvich tanav as an okaid and Sarah Madden, tasulgum guraishev or nart ganart, markemehe din Institute. Agus tasulging, no the big the million dent to give, good to Chevrash, agus couple point a have no couple euro, couple euro a havling, mar quarter wakish, no, or quarter carnocta. So when you make your first million, remember CIT and send us back a few thousand euros, and you never know, we can put a plaque up on the wall there for you, and the next generation of CIT graduates will say, yeah, I can do that as well. So well done to everybody. Mila Kogard, and have a great day. God bless.
Thank you, President. Members of the governing body, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and visitors joining us via the World Wide Web, on behalf of my colleagues in the Faculty of Business and Humanities and on my own behalf, I'm delighted to be associated with the President's congratulations and best wishes to you, our graduates. Our Faculty of Business and Humanities contributes close to 5,800 students, or 51% of the total student cohort in CIT, and currently delivers 148 programmes, full, part-time and online, across a wide range of disciplines. The School of Business continues to increase its research activity at Masters and PhD level, and this year the Hinks Centre for Entrepreneurship Excellence has been successful in completing EU research projects and received external funding worth €250,000 through various national and EU projects. Further afield, the Hinks Centre was involved in the successful delivery of an entrepreneurship education programme for staff and students in universities in Vietnam. Last week in CIT saw the first cohort of female entrepreneurs graduate from the Certificate in Enterprise Development, a collaboration between CCAD, Ballyhora, Hinks and the Rubicon Centre here in CIT. Also, the department was successful in securing a Risham Scholarship for doctoral research in business this year. The V-Link Research Centre in the Department of Management Enterprise has been successful also in receiving funding for 3 new EU and national projects worth over €500,000 this year. These projects have resulted in new collaborations with universities and clusters in Belgium, Botswana, Colombia, Finland and South Africa. And the Faculty of Business and Humanities are proud to be sponsoring the PhD research of Conor Hart. And Conor was yesterday named in the Irish squad for the upcoming Men's Hockey World Cup in India. So we wish Conor the best of luck there. The School of Business work placement has gone from strength to strength, with all School of Business programmes now offering placement opportunities as part of the degree. This work placement has been very positively received and supported by our wide range of industry partners, and we acknowledge their important role in our graduates' formation. CIT was also a proud recipient of a Delta Disciplinary Excellence Award for Entrepreneurship Education earlier this year, and the department played a vital role in contributing to this success. And also entrepreneurship has been also embedded in our programmes here, with funding and accredited learning available to students who participate in CIT's Studenting programme. So our strong programme offering, our research activity and industry engagement position us well to take a leading role in the establishment of the new Munster Technological University. I want to acknowledge and congratulate CIT staff member Maybet Ayalu, who graduates today with a Bachelor of Business and Management. I'd also like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to our colleagues who've retired this year, Breda Fogarty from the Department of Management and Enterprise, and also Brian McGrath from the School of Business, and thank them for their significant contribution and wish them a happy and a healthy retirement. I would like to thank our own faculty team, academic, technical and administrative, who helped you on your journey to graduation, and a special thanks to Dr. Breda Kenny, Head of the School of Business. The future looks bright for you, our graduates, both here and abroad, with the skill set you have acquired, and we wish you well in your new careers. And today is all about you. We're delighted to celebrate the success story that is each one of you. We acknowledge your achievements along with the contribution of many others, especially your lecturers, families, loved ones and friends. Graduates, may I ask you to rise, and may I ask you to applaud all those people that have helped you along the journey that are sitting behind you. You can sit now. We hope you look back with pride with the time you spent here in CIT, and continue your learning pathway and consider our postgraduate professional and CPD programs in the future. And as the President said, maintain your link to CIT through staff, social media and the alumni office. Before concluding, I would like to thank the Conferring organising team who've ensured this ceremony ran so smoothly and effectively, and also mention Cit Open Days, which take place on Thursday the 8th of November in the National Maritime College, on Friday the 16th of November in the Bishopstown campus and the Crawford College of Art and Design, and on Saturday the 17th of November in the Cit Cork School of Music and Cit Crawford College of Art and Design. And I'd ask you to encourage prospective students to attend these sessions. Finally, as this is a day of celebration, enjoy the day with your family, friends and loved ones, and no doubt it will be a late night of celebration. I invite you all to some light refreshments in the West Atrium at the conclusion of the ceremony. Graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the meeting for the purpose of conferring awards on the students of our institute. My best wishes and my thanks to you all.
I'm back. Please all rise and remain standing until all members of the academic procession have departed the auditorium. Please be seated for a few moments.